This Xbox device, I'm already committing resources to getting one. This is a PC. So when a device allows for me to be able to tinker, to be able to have access, oh, that device is definitely going to have to be in my library somewhere. I already got the Steam Deck. I messed around with it, but there were still a few things that I felt were lacking, which was that native capability to be able to hopscotch to whichever platform I chose to want to go ahead and game on. There wasn't necessarily a smooth access to, say, my good old games library or my Epic Games library. I do play games on all of them, Gotham Knights, but this is, in my opinion, something that I think is very interesting. I've also seen the responses and the reactions as well. And shout out to Destin, he's not trying to clickbait you. So he was being reserved by saying that this could change everything. I wanted to say that this actually has changed everything the moment we get a device like this in our hands. I'll tell you what I'm going to do with it. You can basically use your imagination to pretty much figure out the rest. So what this particular handheld is basically an Xbox-based handheld streamlined for ASUS to be able to leverage their hardware with other platform integrations that have already basically been very functional and fluid, but now integrate Xbox into it, not only from the Xbox app side, but there's also a link to the Xbox console via remote play, cloud play, and the other entitlements that Xbox gives. This is why I've said from a console perspective, Xbox has the best ecosystem anyone can actually play on. These things aren't new. I get them on Steam. I can stream my Steam games across my devices. I have cross entitlements in terms of my save files. I can access these games anywhere. So already, this was stuff that was already available for PC gamers for many, many years. But it's interesting that now, even though it's been available to Xbox gamers in a limited sense based on the console and then eventually expanding to PC, it now takes an entirely different look at what the gaming industry is doing. So for the first time, a device that is an Xbox device will be able to play PlayStation first-party exclusives. Did you hear what I said? I said for the first time, a device that is an Xbox device will be able to play PlayStation first-party exclusives. You can take that to the bank and you can say, oh, well, it's not technically an Xbox console. I don't think Xbox really cares to tell you if it's a console or not. They just tell you that it's an Xbox. That's what it is. It's an Xbox device. It's going to basically have access to Steam. It's going to have access to Epic Games. It's going to have access to good old games. And you can get, in the case of good old games, DRM-free versions of those games on your Xbox Ally. You can get the Steam versions on your Xbox Ally. And you can also get the Epic Games versions also on your Xbox Ally. Also, this whole conversation of people laughing at PC gamers saying that, let me see you play PC games on GTA 6 on your PC. You do know that some of us on the PC side actually have some of these devices sitting around, right? So what I'm going to do with a device like this is, if I wanted to play GTA or if I wanted to play MLB The Show on the road, which is not available traditionally on the PC stores, I will be able to play it on my PC via remote play, because the remote play strategy and the remote play paradigm is one that's been heralded by a lot of people. Do you know how I know? When the PlayStation handheld came out, do you remember how many people said this was actually a good thing because it streamed directly from your console? Oh, yes. There were many people who said this actually provided an aspect for PlayStation to be able to give gamers access to their library on the go without having to carry their console around. Well, guess what? Xbox has just basically copied that play, but to a different extent. Now, the Xbox user who chooses to remain in the Xbox ecosystem and Xbox platform can carry a library of Xbox games, have access to their native Xbox games digitally, possibly via remote play, and also PlayStation games. It changes everything. It literally does. Because the entire notion that you needed to go ahead and buy yourself a PlayStation game to play PlayStation games if you were on Xbox, that notion has just been technologically attacked and made obsolete in a sense. The only way that this can basically go back into the genie's bottle is if PlayStation stops putting games on PC. But that's not going to happen because they really do like the PC money. So for all those who were saying that PlayStation is going to block an Xbox device from being able to access Steam and play their games, we laughed because many of you didn't necessarily consider that this device was going to basically be a Windows-based device with an Xbox branding on it. And they already set the stage and the precedence to tell you that all that was an Xbox. So how is Sony going to block these games? I would love to know. I'd love for you to go ahead and tell me. Because you do know, though, that once this thing gets its way into the market, a lot of Xbox players that have never bought an Xbox before, this thing is targeted for some of them that are willing to spend more money. Let's not be fooled. This is going to cost you laptop money to buy. There's no doubt about that because this is a rogue, and I said this before, this is the Asus branding of their, premium hardware. 1 terabyte, 512, base versions, the Z1 Extreme pricing level, that's what you're probably going to see here. If it's any less, then it's going to even basically fly off the shelves even more. And I'm looking at this as this already has a PC on it. So as a PC person, and so those who may have been, thinking about how the consoles have some kind of an edge in their own, ecosystem in terms of PlayStation and, Xbox, this device subverts all of that. I was watching Linus Tech's video when he was talking about some of the different aspects to this. And he talked about some of the, and I'm sure the press release is, has given him a script of what he can talk about. But, the very first thing that he came out with was the fact that you can access these libraries. You see it. Look at and the images may not have struck you, but it struck me. It's the most recent Steam page right now, which has the Capcom Publisher sale. So you can already tell that this video was probably edited on site. I mean, like, literally, they shot the video with the talking points as quickly as they could, but guess the next Epic Games picture that's on there. It's a Rockstar game. Do you see that? That already tells you that if you can access your games via remote play and you have a console version of this Rockstar game, you can play that on your Rogue, I say Rogue, your Xbox Ally. So the PC gamer who's also in the Xbox ecosystem probably need not wait. And we don't know if GTA 6 is going to be cloud enabled. Time will tell. But that person who basically has a console pretty much has access to this game across the board. And that's just one small application in that regard. So I can already basically tell you, if you're wanting to maybe go ahead and buy yourself, say, a PlayStation to play PlayStation games or whatever it is, I don't think these kinds of devices actually give you much room to not stay within the PC ecosystem. It's a very, very interesting framework right now that we're seeing. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this to me is the technological advantage that I've been wanting to see for a long time, where the walls are pretty much eroded and broken down and gamers can access games that they want to go ahead and access. All this talk about some platform having all of this, superiority or has this one edge over the other when they're all PCs basically being boxed inside of brand named whatever has always made me kind of like, a little, I've been in a position where I've scratched my head many times thinking, really, people really think this? But in reality, this is what it's always been like. So let's go ahead and see how this whole subversion of exclusivity looks like, especially now that the Xbox gamer can play pretty much any third-party exclusive that comes to PC and goes to PlayStation. I'm going to hold my coffee and I'm going to drink a little bit of it and maybe, engage in a little bit of popcorn as this thing plays itself out. Talk to me in the comment section. Appreciate your time and audience. Peace out.